Колеги, розпочинаємо прес-брифінг по речнику.
Dear colleagues, we're starting the press briefing of the spokesperson of the anti-terrorist operation, Colonel Andriy Lysenko, who will tell us about the general situation in the anti-terrorist operation zone. And right after his briefing, we'll talk on the phone with Mariupol, where there will be a press secretary of the Sector M and the representative of the self-defense of Mariupol. Dear colleagues, the world and Ukraine have shuddered at another crime of terrorists on the east of Ukraine. Yesterday, on the 24th of January, the terrorists have delivered a blow from Grad multiple rocket launcher on the Ordzhonikidze district of Mariupol and the adjacent settlement Vinogradne of Volnovakha district. As a result, 30 people died, 102 were wounded, 30 residential houses and 7 educational establishments were damaged, and partially the Azovstal metallurgy combine has stopped working. The special monitoring mission of OSCE has urgently gone to the site of the tragedy and established that the shelling of residential area was done by the terrorists of the so-called DNR. As a result of the analysis of the places where the rockets hit, the experts said that the rockets of Grad system were launched from the northern-eastern direction from the vicinity of the settlement Oktyabrske, and Uragan rockets from the east, from the vicinity of Lysenko settlement. Both settlements are under control of the so-called DNR at the distance of 19 and 15 kilometers, says the report of the mission. So the participation of the gunmen in this bloody terrorist act is evident and irrefutable. This crime of the terrorists and the aggressive policy of the Russian Federation against Ukraine were strictly condemned by world leaders. In particular, the U.S. State Secretary John Kerry said that the new offensive of separatists, not only on Mariupol and Debaltseve, but also along the entire line of ceasefire, is happening with the help and with support of irresponsible and dangerous decision of Russia to provide them over the recent week with hundreds of units of new modern armaments. The General Secretary of UN, Ban Ki-moon, condemned the actions of terrorists, as well as the High Representative of the European Union on Foreign Policy, Federica Mogherini. The President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, said that so-called DNR and LNR have to be recognized terrorist organization. He also agreed the holding of negotiations with the in Geneva format with the participation of USA, European Union, Ukraine and Russian Federation. Soon the special sitting of the Council of National Council of Defense and Security will start. Today in Ukraine there is a day of mourning. The situation in the anti-terrorist operation zone is becoming more complicated. The gunmen are very intensively shelling our positions using artillery, mortars, grenade launchers, tanks, and the Grad multiple rocket launchers. The coming of military vehicles, arms, ammunition and personnel from the territory of Russian Federation does not stop. At the same time, the Ukrainian military are inflicting heavy losses on the bandits and invaders. From 17th to the 22nd of January, the Ukrainian defenders have killed almost 600 gunmen and Russian military. 775 terrorists were wounded. However, the final number of their losses may be bigger because some of the wounded are being evacuated from the battlefield by the enemy. 14 tanks of the enemy, 43 armored, 14 units of Grad and Uragan multiple grenade launchers were destroyed, as well as 28 self-propelled guns. Only in Donetsk airport, 85 gunmen were killed, 53 wounded, 7 tanks, 12 armored vehicles, 9 other vehicles, and a cannon of the enemy were destroyed. Over the last 24 hours, as a result of combat, 83 gunmen were killed and 90 were wounded. Over the last 24 hours, 4 Ukrainian military were killed and 17 were wounded. Because of the shellings, the Donetsk filter station does not work. As a result, there's no water supply in many settlements in Volnovakha, Mar'їne, Yasinuvata districts of Donetsk region and partially in the city of Donetsk. There's no electricity in 75 populated areas where 130,000 people live. In the city of Debaltseve, because of constant shelling over the last days, there are dead and wounded among local residents. 60 residential buildings and infrastructure objects are ruined or damaged. As a result of artillery shelling yesterday in the village Stanitsa Luhanska, a married couple was killed. The Russian Federation continues to conduct air reconnaissance in the east of Ukraine. Yesterday at 3:45 p.m., our border guards in the direction of settlements Monotsky, Russian Federation, Commissioner, Ukraine in Luhansk region have detected the flight of a drone that entered the territory of Ukraine at the height of almost 1 kilometer and then came back to Russia. Also next to the settlement Yuhanivka, Luhansk region, the flight of 3 jets of the armed forces of the Russian Federation was detected. They flew next to the Ukrainian-Russian state border. The Ukrainian special services detained 2 informers of terrorist organizations, DNR and LNR. One of them, nicknamed Monarch, was recruited through a social network by the DNR gunmen. At the fulfilling the task of the terrorists, he created a well-branched network of informers among internet users, and then he passed on the information to the headquarters of the terrorists. While searching his residence, the law enforcers have found a notebook, a means of communication with the gunman, and 2 battle grenades. Another detained person was a member of one of Ukrainian armed structures in Luhansk. At the control point Lysychansk, the Ukrainian border guards, during the search of a minivan of a ritual service that was transporting the body of a killed gunman, found a battle grenade. According to preliminary information, the dead was a member of the illegal armed formation, the 1st Cossack Regiment of the Great Troop of Don. In Mykolaiv, the locomotive repair plant is modernizing and repairing the armored machinery from the zone of the anti-terrorist operation. Starting from the April of last year, the Mykolaiv enterprise, at the expense of own money and without charge, have repaired 37 units, different armored vehicles. Ukrainian sportsmen are helping the defenders of Mariupol At the end of the last week, the Minister of Youth and Sports of Ukraine have handed over to representatives of volunteer organization skis that will be delivered to military reconnaissance people in the anti-terrorist operation zone next to Mariupol. The school children of the Lviv Legal Gymnasium have produced 2 heating devices for warriors from Lviv. In the kindergarten Teremok in the Vinnytsia region, the kids are also helping our military in the east of Ukraine. Yesterday, to the city of Popasna, Luhansk region, where Vinnytsia law enforcers are serving, parcels with cookies, candies, socks were sent, collected by parents and workers of the kindergarten. Yesterday there was a very contradictory information. First they said that the gunmen are next to Mariupol, then there was a news that they are in the east of the city. Then Zakharchenko said that they do not need Mariupol and they are just scaring our warriors. What is the situation there? In a minute there will be our representative talking to you over the phone, and he will tell you from the site. No, we would like to hear it from you. I'm not in the know at the moment. Any other questions to Colonel Lysenko? Thank you very much, and we expect you to come tomorrow at 6:30.